Greetings, my friends. Jim Bell with MSource Training and Consulting. Wanted to come to you today and start talking a little bit about year end and the beginning of a new year. As we're wrapping up yet one more trip around the sun, thought it was important that we start kind of wrapping up things in our mortgage worlds from a licensing and a renewal perspective that sets us on a good path going into the next year. First, let's talk to the MLOs in the group. CE training. If you have not completed your CE training by now, you are starting to become at risk of not meeting the requirements and not getting your renewal in on time. So make sure that CE is done as quickly as possible, not just for your base, but also for each and every state that you're doing business in. If there are state-specific hours that are required, make sure you're getting them completed. Okay. Very important to understand that it's not just a matter of when you hit that complete button and you're all done with the course that immediately you could turn around and go into NMLS and renew your license. Doesn't work that way. The providers that you're completing the education through have work they have to do in order to make sure that those credits get reported appropriately. So give them the appropriate time that they're going to need. And as the volume of these things start going up and up and up as we approach the end of the year, it's going to take them longer and longer to get through those credit uploads that they need to achieve on their end. So plan for 48 to 72 hours after you complete your course before you're going to be able to start the renewal process. That being said, also make sure that if you're in a state that requires background checks, that you've already looked into your composite view inside of NMLS and verified that your fingerprints are still valid. If they are not, you're going to be required to go back to field print or a field print location to get new fingerprints. Similar to CE, those appointment times are getting less and less available, longer and longer waits to get one. Don't wait till the very last minute. Check and see if you're going to need to do fingerprints so that you're aware of that. Again, everything's kind of coming up against a compressed time frame as we approach the end of the year. If you're in a state like Michigan or Colorado that requires surety bonds for the MLO license or E&O requirements, make sure that those things are up to date, that they've been renewed and are set going into the new year. That being said, Colorado did make some adjustments to the renewal processes. So although that doesn't have to be done as part of the renewal, they will be looking to make sure that your DORA account has been updated for bond expirations and or E&O expirations going into the next year. That'll happen probably between January and February, but don't let it get away from you. Don't pretend, don't think you can just not do it this year. Okay. Companies, very, very important. I hear this many times. I guess it surprises me, but I want everybody to be clear on this. You have to physically go into NMLS and request renewal of your company and or branch licenses. Each and every one of them has to be renewed every single year. Before they're going to allow you to do that, you're going to make sure that, one, all license items that were in your account have been addressed and cleared. All of your call reports, financial condition reports, state level reports, all of those things have been brought up to date and current. There's nothing left that's not filed. You're going to make sure that any assessments that are issued through NMLS have been paid. Any of these things that are left out there can prevent you from even being able to submit the renewal. The actual button to submit will not even go live until these things have been resolved. Okay. If you're in a state that has surety bonds that are adjusted based on annual volume, be prepared to know what your state volume was for that state and evaluate it against the charts that they provide to tell you whether or not you're going to have to increase, decrease, or just renew the bond as normal. Increases to the bond are going to be required to be done before they're going to approve the renewal of your current license. Also, very, very, very important. If you're in a state that considers 12/31 a drop dead date for renewals, make sure that it's done and submitted by 12/31. Many states after 12/31, as long as you were submitted on or before that date, will allow you to do business as usual going into January. Some states do not. Others say if you did not get it renewed by December 31st, your license has now officially expired, has been terminated, and you will be required to apply for a brand new license. States like Georgia, that could take you 90 to 120 days. Please don't delay any further. Make sure these things are addressed and submitted as quickly as possible. Couple of additional footnotes as we approach going into a new year. I know that as we approach the year end, many people start looking at doing distributions from their companies and kind of drawing down the level of cash that are in their operating accounts. Make sure you're taking into consideration your net worth requirements before you do this. All too often what we're seeing is that owners are depleting the cash that's in their operating and or just savings accounts to a level that goes below the net worth requirement for their licensing. What that means is when you're ready to submit your financial condition report and your corresponding financial statements going into 3/31 of next year, you're going to fall below that at year end. States are getting very, very aggressive about fining and penalizing for falling below those targets. Remember, your net worth requirement is the minimum that you're required to maintain at all times. So don't let yourself slip into a trap of letting it fall below that because you took more distributions, or operationally handcuff yourself because you took more distribution than maybe you should have. Okay. Couple of other points. Secretary of State filings. These are another things they're another item that are seeming to trip people up here as we approach year end. Many are coming due before the end of the year. Some start to renew in the beginning of next year. But keep in mind that you want to always maintain good standing with the Secretary of States in the states you operate in. So that means those registered agent notices from comptrollers or tax authorities within those states are very important to read and make sure you understand what they're asking for and the requirements that they want you to fulfill. Failure to respond to these filings, to complete filings when they're supposed to be, and or tax returns or franchise filings in each state can cause you to go into a non-good standing status. And in some cases, the regulatory authorities that oversee your licenses could suspend your license as a result. Don't let yourself fall into that trap. If you get something from Secretary of State, if you get something from a registered agent, please read it carefully. If you have questions, we are always here to help. Lastly, workman's compensation. If you have employees working in states, you're going to be required to carry workman's comp policies for those employees. Some states have that as part of their licensing requirements. Minnesota will require a reattestation each and every year. So if you're operating in Minnesota, be prepared to make sure that you're able to provide proof that workman's comp has been updated and is in effect for 2026 for the level of employees you have in those states. Okay. These are just some of the items that we see on a regular basis that are kind of stumbling blocks for people to either, one, get their renewals completed, or two, get going and not face operational challenges in the first quarter. So if you have any questions, if you need help, that's what we are here for. You can reach us MSource24.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on LinkedIn. Our direct line is 248-620-3434. Please don't wait till the last minute to get these things addressed and completed. We are here to help if you have any questions. Thanks. Make it a great day. Have a wonderful holiday. And I hope that the beginning of your next year is great. Thank you.